Lucy poems were basically written by William Wordsworth. He started writing in 1797 itself, and these poems were written where he was making a visit to Germany, along with his sister and Dorothy, and along with S.T. Coleridge as well. So these three were together went to Germany, and there they wrote this poem, Lucy poems. Basically, Lucy is supposed to be a girl in England. And sometimes some critics says that Lucy is none other than Dorothy. But in some of the lines, he says that Lucy was the beloved of William Wordsworth. And when she died, so these poems were written on the memory, on the remembrance of that girl. So let's start. It was a series of 5 poems that was written between 1798 and 1801. So out of the 5 poems, there were 4 poems that appeared in the second edition of the lyrical ballads. So all but one were first published during 1800 in the second edition of the lyrical ballads, and this poem was not published in the second edition. The title is I Traveled Among Unknown Men. This appeared in the 1807 collection, poems in 2 volumes. So these poems were written while he was making a short journey in Germany along with Coleridge. When both of them were living in Germany, they took up separate residence for living in the University of Göttingen. So here Wordsworth is examining his own unrequited love for the character Lucy. So Lucy is an English girl. She is from England, who has died at a young age without marriage. She died at a young age when she was not yet married. And the idea of her death weighs heavily on the poet's thoughts of the series, imbuing it with the melancholic elegiac tone. So throughout the poem, we can find that there is a melancholy tone. There is such elegy type of poem is there. And we can also find that Wordsworth, when he is there in the Germany, he is missing his own England. A kind of nostalgia feeling is there in some of the poems. So some of the critics says that this Lucy may be Dorothy, or it may be some fictional character, it may be some real character that may be the beloved of Wordsworth, but there is no surety who was Lucy. So these are the 5 poems that comes under Lucy poems. Number 1 is Strange Feats of Passion Have I Known. She dwelt among the untrodden ways. The third, I traveled among unknown men. 3 years she grew in sun and shower. And 5th one is a slumber did my spirit see. So I'll discuss one by one all these poems. One poem is very long. Otherwise, the rest of the poems are very small. The first one is Strange Feats of Passion Have I Known. It is written in a 7-stanza poem. Total, there are 7 stanzas in this poem, and it is written in the form of a ballad. Ballad means some stories there inside. And it was composed during the visit to Germany in 1798. And it was published in the second edition. So this poem talks about the visit of poet. Poet is making a visit to the cottage of Lucy. Lucy is living on a very high hilltop, and on the hilltop her cottage is there. So he is just describing his own visit when he is going to meet Lucy once in the evening in the summer. So the setting of this poem is in the summer season, and it is the evening time when he is going to meet with Lucy. And each of the 7 stanzas are divided into 4 lines. They are having the rhyme scheme AB, AB, and it is written in iambic tetrameter and trimeters. Some lines are also 1 line. I think 1 stanza is there in the trimeter. Okay, so here is the poem in front of you. So he says that strange fits of passion have I known. He has having some passion inside him. That is kind of strange things. And he want to share with someone those passion that he has. He want to share his passion with someone, and he says, and I will dare to tell. He is having the dare to tell, but in the lover's ear alone. So he can share this passion with some other lovers only. So here he indicates, in fact, that a lovers can only understand the passion that he has inside. So he says that he can only share, he has only a dare to share this passion in the lover's ear. So if there is some other lover, then he can share this passion. What once to me befall. So whatever the passion he has before those passion. So all those passion he will only share to the lovers, some other lovers. And the second stanza, he says, when she I loved looked every day. So here he is talking about his love affair, and it shows that here Lucy was the beloved of Wordsworth. And it says that when she I loved, so it was the time when he used to love Lucy, and he was able to realize that every day she looked like a fresh rose of June. So she was as beautiful that she was looking like a fresh rose of June. And I to her cottage bent my way beneath an evening moon. So here is the setting that he's talking about. It's the evening time, and the moon is coming upward, and he was going to her cottage. I to her cottage bent my way. So he's going onto the cottage to meet Lucy on the hilltop on his way, and it was the evening time. Upon the moon I fixed my eye. So as we saw, that is the evening time, the moon is setting up. So he is gazing on the moon. He has fixed his eyes on the moon all over the wide lea. Lea means the field, grass field. So he is going through the grass field with his eyes fixed on the moon. With quickening pace my horse drew nigh. So here it indicates that the speaker or the poet is riding on the horse. He is not going by walk, but rather he is going by a horse. So with quickening pace, so one by one, the horse is putting its leg, and it is drawing near. Nigh means near. It is drawing near to the cottage of Lucy. Those paths so dear to me. And this line is very important. He says that those paths so dear to me. That means he has traveled through that path several times. That this path looks friendly to him. And then he says, and now we reached the orchard plot. So just by moving away, going near to the cottage of Lucy, in between he reached one orchard plot, that is a garden of orchard. And as we climbed the hill, as I said that the cottage of Lucy is on the hilltop, so he has to climb on the hill. So as we climb the hill, the sinking moon to Lucy's cot. So when the more near he is going to the cottage, the moon is sinking, the moon is hiding, the moon is going down. Because naturally when we go closer to some houses, whatever is there at the back side of the house, it remains invisible. So he's talking a kind of that situation, that the closer he is going near to the cottage, the moon is sinking. So came near and nearer still. So when he is going near to the cottage and going nearer to the cottage, the moon is sinking. And the last three stanzas, in one of those sweet dreams I slept. So in the previous stanza, we saw that he is gazing at the moon, and when he is gazing at the moon, it seems like he is having a sweet dreams and he is sleeping. Kind nature's gentlest boon. So that is a boon given to him by the nature, that he is able to gaze at the moon, and he is able to go through that forest. And all the while my eye kept. And he says that when I was still keeping my eye, that's a homonym, and all the while my eye kept on the moon, on the descending moon. So now the moon was descending, the moon was going down, it was disappearing. And then he says, my horse moved on. Now his horse is still moving on, hoof after hoof. That means step by step, the horse is moving on. He raced and never stopped when down behind the cottage roof at once the bright moon dropped. So he raced and never stopped. The horse, he's talking about the horse, he is going and going, he's never stopping when down behind the cottage roof. So now he has just reached just behind the cottage roof. At once the bright moon dropped, and now the moon has completely gone, because the moon has completely disappeared. What fond and wayward thoughts will slide? Now when he is asking a question, a kind of question, that what thoughts should arise, what thoughts should resonate in the mind of a lover, into a lover's head? What thought should come when the moons will disappear and a lover reaches to the cottage of his beloved? So what type of thoughts should come into his mind? Then he says that when everything is disappeared and it becomes darker, there is no light anywhere, then what thoughts should resonate in the mind of a lover? He says, oh mercy, to myself I cried. So he is crying to himself, and he says that the thought that came to his mind is, if Lucy would be dead. If Lucy would be dead, that means if Lucy is dead. So this is the thought that may come to the mind of a lover when he sees darkness all around, the moon is totally disappeared. So this is the first poem. I think you have understood.